Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial. This is the continuation part of the last part of Selenium Framework Development Series. Okay, in the last part we had discussed about what is framework, why it is useful, why it is required, and how we can be benefited using or implementing a framework while performing the automation, right? So in this section we are going to talk about what are the different framework that are available in the industry or heavily used in the industry. Okay, and we'll know some sort of brief information about all the important framework that are being used nowadays. Okay, so let's quickly start it. So there are majorly 5 to 6 type of framework or models that are used, okay, or in priorities, okay, as per the automation is concerned, say name automation. So one is data driven framework, another one is keyword driven framework, third is hybrid, fourth is page object model, fifth is advanced page object model, okay, or redefined page object model, okay, and last one is BDD framework, that is behavior driven development framework. So we'll know about each of the framework, okay, in a kind of composed manner, okay, in a span of 2 3 minutes. Okay, let's quickly start with data driven framework. So what is data driven framework actually? So data driven framework is a framework that more related to data, handling huge amount of data or data which comes from different sources. Okay, suppose you have an application which needs the automation testing where you need huge amount of data. Okay, and the data sources may be different. You may need to interact with Excel, CSV file, database, PDF, XML, YAMLs, properties file. Okay, like this you may need to interact with multiple data sources. Okay, so that time we need to go with or we need to work with the relevant framework. Okay, this data cannot be hard coded in the framework or code, right? So that's why we have to bring it in the framework from the outside source, and we have to work with it. Okay, so let's say for an example, online application form, right? There might be, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 fields, okay, that you have to fill it up. Okay, and each column or each field may have related 5 to 10 different fields again that you have to fill it up. So just imagine for one user you need to fill up like 500 600 of data. So let's say you have to fill the application form for 1,000 people. So just imagine how many data or how many different forms of data or source of data can be there. So I had given a simple, very simple example of where we can use that, right? So let's move on. Second one is keyword driven framework. So what is keyword driven framework? Keyword driven framework, basically, let's say you have an application, right? So you have an UI, right? In the UI, suppose you need to log in your application, you need to log in, right? So login is a functionality or operation that you need to perform. Okay, suppose you have to register or like you have to select some user, okay, or select the product, let's say. So that is selecting a product, another operation, right? So there are multiple operations in the UI that we need to perform while working with an application, right? So these are called, or not called, basically these are treated as keywords, and these keywords are deduced or derived into different methods. Okay, we write methods for different keywords, okay, and use them. Methods using language Java, C Sharp and all, right? So in this case, test data is generated in the runtime, okay, from your code itself, or sometimes also it is hard coded. Okay, so that's how the keyword driven framework works, or it is on a high level. So it is basically very easy to maintain and debug and user because you are writing, code depending on your keywords, and you can easily use each other method wherever it is required, right? But there is a drawback of keyword driven framework, that if you have, let's say, you want to use keyword driven framework, but at the same point of time you need to handle huge amount of data from different sources of data, then keyword driven framework cannot do that, right? So that's why we came up with another new feature concept of hybrid framework. Hybrid framework is nothing but a combination of data driven and keyword driven framework, right? Data, here data is retrieved from different sources, different formats, okay, and utilized using the keyword, that is the methods of what you write using your language Java, right? So reusability, maintainability, okay, you can debug your code very easily, but at the same time you can get exposure to multiple various sets of data and a good number of data you can work with. So that's what the hybrid framework is. Okay, so let's move on to next topic, or like next framework, that is page object model framework. Okay, so nowadays in the industry, this is very much used framework. This is a very much used framework, and this has been given importance heavily as per the industries are concerned. Okay, so let's quickly see what is page object model. What is page? Basically, let's say you have an application, right? You have an UI, right? In the UI you have a, let's say, a login page. In the login page, okay, you have certain functionality. Okay, login, okay, enter username, enter password, then you click on login, right? That's what the login page is about, a typical login page, right? So in the page object model, it is like a single web page, okay, is considered, or you consider a single web page, okay, and you break down its functionalities. Let's say login one functionality, or send entering username one functionality, entering password and another functionality. So you break it down its functionalities or operations of the page, okay, create an individual methods, okay, for each of the operation of that page, and one single page represents one single page class in Java or class in C Sharp. Okay, one page is equivalent to one class, and one operation is equivalent to one method. Okay, now if the page is very much complex, and a page, let's say a page is having thousands of operations, then you have to break it down one page to multiple different page class, right? Why? Because you cannot write 1,000 methods or 10,000 methods in a single page. You can write obviously, but your code looks clumsy, and the readability of the code gets reduced. Okay, and hence the deb you can no, it will be difficult to debug as well. So a page or a partial page can be considered a page class. Okay, and you write your operations, okay, in the form of methods, right? At the same time, web elements, right? What is web element I'm talking about? In the UI, there are no buttons, there are text fields. All these are called elements, so web elements, as it is a part of web, so that's why it is called web elements. So web elements are considered, each web elements are considered as object of the page, right? And it is implemented using a design called page factory. What is that? We'll know further in the further videos. Okay, let's not go into that. Okay, so in each function or method, a specific code is written. So let's say if something goes wrong, or your UI gets changed tomorrow by the development team, UI getting changed, or some locator is getting changed, you have to fix it in one place, that is in the page class, right? Because that method, login method, is in the login page itself. So some UI changes is there, or some element is not change, so you can go ahead only to the one place, login page. You can make the changes, fix it, right? It is very much secure because there is way only one way to the entry of the functionality of each page. What I'm trying to say is, so the functionality of a page is residing in a single place. of the framework, not everywhere. So it's secure and very much reusable. You can reuse the same functionality or method wherever it is possible to reuse. Okay, that's what I mentioned here. And another thing, suppose you are performing some operation, like once you log in to an application, you will be navigate to home page, right? So the login method, return type of the login method is the object of the home page. Means once after successful login, you were navigating to home page. Home page is another class, right? So through successful login, you are navigating to home page class, right? So the return type of the method login will be object of home page. Home page is another class, correct? And here data we can utilize from external resources like Excel, XML, database, etc., PDFs, whatever possible, YAMLs and all. Okay. Now, what is advanced or modified, page object model? Excuse me. So, in the classic page object model, we had seen that how can we write locators in the same page, right? In the same page class, right? Using page factory. But in the advanced page object model, we will not use the page factory to define or implement the objects, web elements. We will use or implement interfaces. So one page class will be having respective page elements. Let's say I have a page. That page is having 10 elements or 10 locators, web elements. Okay. So that I will be defining an interface which will hold 10 locators for login page. I have, let's say, in a home page. Home page is having, let's say, 100 web elements. So I'll be defining an interface, respective interface, which will be holding 100 web elements for the home page. So that's why we segregate, okay, because it is very much easy to maintain the code, okay, debug the code if thing goes wrong, and it is very much maintainable and reusable as well. Your code will look cleaner, okay, and the other benefits as well we'll discuss deep when we the, implement the framework as well. And data sources are like same as page object model, okay? And there is another way, not another way, there is another thing that we incorporate with advanced page object model is you can segregate your page functionality or operation methods from the validation method. What is validation method? Suppose the method which is through which you are performing some validation, whether a user has logged in or whether a user whether an user has done successful registration, on all this call a validations method. We'll see. So you can segregate, I can make it in a different modules. So that's what advanced page object model is about. Okay, now what is BDD? So BDD basically, it, as the name says, it's like behavior driven development. Means behavior of the application drives the development. Okay, here we write as we use a language called Gherkin language. Gherkin language is nothing but a given, when, then, and. So you use this kind of phrases to define something. Okay, and we use that once we write some simple Gherkin declare the behavior basically. Okay, the behavior is log into the application. Let's say I'm writing when I'm logging into the application. This is a behavior. So this behavior has to be implemented as a method. Okay, using your Java C#. Okay, that's the behavior you are defining it. Okay, and from there Gherkin you're calling your method, and in this way BDD works. So we'll see whenever if we develop BDD framework as well. Okay, so that's all from this section, guys. In the next video, we'll be talking about the components of the framework and the flow of the framework itself in a component wise. What are the tools we'll be using, how they are integrated, what we are trying to achieve, and what will be the flow of it. Okay, so meanwhile, if you like my video, please do share, like, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please put them in the comment box. I'll be happy to help. Thank you and have a nice day.